Welcome to the Nightly Rant
with
your hosts, Mike
and Torya.
This is the show where we examine society from a sarcastic point of view.
If you like insane conversations, this is definitely the show for you.
Let's get into today's topic. YPN people, I don't know about you, but I love helping out a friend. That's why I want to shout out my friend Brian Little and his podcast, Your Favorite Blockhead. This is the only show that manages to weave together peanuts and MMA into one heck of an amazing podcast. You can find Your Favorite Blockhead wherever your favorite podcasts reside and at yourfavoriteblockhead.com. Do me a huge favor and listen to Brian's show. You'll be entertained and you'll help out a friend. Now, as I said, let's get into today's topic.
So, episode
500?
500 episodes. How in the hell did we get to 500 episodes?
I don't know. I didn't even think we were amusing enough to make it through like 12 episodes, honestly.
So, in honor of our 500th episode, we wanted to talk to you today about how we got here. And you may notice that the video for this episode actually shows us on the video. See, hello. It's not just our beautiful voices, but it's actually our ugly faces as well. I'm speaking for myself, not you.
Well, you did say
you're
our
beautiful.
ugly faces.
You're beautiful, I'm
turd
ugly.
Sandwich.
You're young, I'm old. It's just a fact. In any event, how did we get here? So if you look at the tagline of the show, it's the Nightly Rant, Insane Conversations Revealed. So how did we get here? Tell everybody.
Well, we used to like sit our asses down on the couch, and then we'd be into a TV show, and something would strike one of us the wrong way or right way, whatever, however you want to think about it. And we'd launch into this like 17-hour conversation about whatever and go down this like weird analyzing religion, psychoanalyzing path.
And that's what we called Insane Conversations.
Yeah.
And then one day I said, I think people would enjoy hearing our insane conversations. And here we are, 500 episodes later.
You dragged me kicking and screaming through the first 250, I think.
I was ready to quit at like 300.
Yeah.
You dragged me the rest of the way. So here we are.
Now we're kind of.
And what are we going to talk about for our 500th episode? I mean, what are we going to cover today?
Well, we said we were just going to kind of reminisce about our favorite things that have happened over the last 499 episodes.
So my absolute two favorite episodes are, I can never remember the guy. Yes, I now remember his name. I love Trash Bag Basketball. Right. And I love Patrick from Newport Beach.
Oh my God! I forgot about Patrick from Newport Beach. That dude was the biggest asshat.
So tell them about Patrick from Newport Beach since it kind of relates to you.
So Patrick from Newport Beach was a guest at one of the Airbnbs for a company I used to work for who like booked the place. And then you know how Airbnb doesn't give you the address?
Right.
So he just like deduced the address from Google like a big old dumb shit and drove past. And he's like, "You've rented me an empty lot? I don't want to rent an empty lot." And then he went all crazy. Like he went big crazy.
Not even knowing where he was actually supposed to go.
Right.
What an idiot.
Pretty much.
And that was Patrick from Newport Beach. And we did an entire episode about it. And if you go to yogispodcastnetwork.com and you go to the Our Shows area and you go to the Nightly Rant, you can search right there for the episode that you want to hear and listen to it right then and there. So my second favorite one is Trash Bag Basketball.
We talked about this one a lot.
And we've talked about this many times, but essentially, you know, we had this neighbor and he was a bald dude. And he wasn't the nicest guy in the world. Like he had a pregnant girlfriend and he never treated her really nicely.
What the heck did he nickname this man?
I don't remember, but you didn't like him very much. And we ended up, we were outside at our apartment complex and we had been barbecuing. And right across from the barbecue area was 2 trash dumpsters. And so he had his trash bag pretty full. And he looked at Torya and he kind of like motioned like he was going to throw it. And Torya said, "I dare you." Now this was a good 20 feet from where he was
It was
standing
about
to where the
3
trash
car
was.
lengths, I would say.
But, I mean, it was a huge dumpster. So what could go wrong? A lot of things went wrong. So he hurls this thing, and the bag explodes in the air.
This man could be the slogan for Glad trash bags. He was literally the don't get mad, get glad
It
guy.
exploded in the air.
There was trash.
Trash was everywhere. And I think one of the reasons why that episode was extremely funny is it's one of the few times you've gotten us in it after an incident, like right away while we're still feeling it and reacting to it. And what do I mean by that? Well, literally we went from downstairs to the 2-minute walk it took to get into our apartment, to the 2 minutes it took us to get the equipment together. And at that time, we were recording into a simple little device. And we grabbed that stuff, we put it together, and we just gave it to you off the cuff, like what we thought.
I also think it's the only episode that I started. You know? Like, it's one of, like, the only episodes that was actually started by a Torya instead of a Mike.
Was it?
I think so.
I don't think it was started by you.
Really?
Yeah, I think I started.
I'm gonna have to go back and have
I think
a
I
listen.
said something like, that was the most funniest thing I've ever seen. And then you described what happened. And, you know, I don't know if you guys have figured out my trick lately, but like I tend to start the show. That's just what happens. I mean, if you look at show notes, most show notes will say, Mike opens the show by saying blah. But I do that because then I make her talk about it.
Tricky, aren't you?
It's easy.
Now that I know what you're up to, it's not
You'll
gonna
still
happen
fall for
anymore.
it. You'll still fall for it because it's just you. That's just how you are. So what were your 2 favorites so far? And you can't pick either one that I picked.
That's rude because you know Trash Bag Basketball is my number 1 favorite episode.
Yes. Too bad. It's mine now. I own it.
Well, so recently, Yogi's Podcast Network website got a bit of a facelift. And if you haven't checked it out, make sure you go to yogispodcastnetwork.com and check it out. If you don't like it, I don't want to hear it because
if you don't like it, I did it. And if you like it, she did it.
Anyway, so I had to be there was some small glitches. All of our episodes had to be touched. And so I recently have touched all of our episodes. And I mean, I came across Trash Bag Basketball and it made me laugh. I came across the Appreciation Cast, but I can't remember what it's called. I don't know if it's called Appreciation Cast. Do you know what I mean? I think it's 291.
I don't know, but I remember what the episode was about.
Yeah, Michael put a link to our favorite episodes in the show notes.
Yes.
So don't stress. It's in the notes. Anyway, and the whole concept of the episode was you talking about the things that you appreciate about my existence, and then I talked about the things that I appreciate about your existence.
Which wasn't much.
Hey now.
Actually, it was very sweet.
It's growing less as we speak.
Tell them what you liked.
Well, there was some things that I don't really remember.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember the biggest one was that I appreciate your caring of the animals.
Yeah, it was interesting to me because I remember thinking when you said it, how sweet it was because, you know, things like that go unnoticed. But like what you guys don't know about me is I love dogs. Love dogs. I don't care. It could be a big dog, little dog, small, in between dog. It doesn't matter. I love dogs. Dogs are amazing creatures. And then this one taught me to like cats as well. So, you know, as you know, anyone who's listened to us for 500 episodes or close to it knows we have a zoo. And I mean, we have a bearded dragon, 4 cats, and now we have 3 dogs. Did we introduce the Douglas yet? I think we did.
Yes. The Douglas.
Well, the Douglas is here. He's an amazing pooch. But in any event, what she likes about me is how passionately affectionate I am about our dogs and our cats. And if you think about it, as I thought about that, I thought, why would that be something that she likes? And I realized, like, not too many people are that into their pets.
Oh my gosh, we see people at the dog park and they're just kind of there. Because
Paying
their
zero
dog,
attention to their animal.
Their dog will annoy the crap out of them for the rest of the week if they don't bring them to the dog park. Or there's the people who are there and they get annoyed with every little thing their dog does and they're like smacking them with the leash. Those ones really piss me off.
Yeah.
And then there's us. You, who's got the ball and you're throwing it for the Cyrus and throwing it for the Cyrus and throwing it for the Cyrus. And me, who's like chasing down the other two psychos and making sure they're running around and having a good time and picking up their turds and, like actively interacting with the two of them.
Yeah. And that's the crazy part is that we both are this way. We always say we share a brain, and that's really the truth. But we're both this way, and I just really adore those dogs. And apparently that makes her like me more because I adore the dogs and the cats.
Well, you're like me. You're not really a people person. And
I also have respect for the animals, though, like Miss Olive. Miss Olive is like the queen of the house. She is our first cat. And she is, really tight with Yogi, and her best friend in the house is Bree. They love each other. They play like crazy animals. But I've had a thing with Miss Olive from day one. If I pick Miss Olive up from this desk, I'm putting Miss Olive back down on the desk. Right. It just is what I do. I respect her, and you know what happens? At first, Miss Olive didn't want me to pick her up. But now she doesn't mind me picking her up because she 100% has been taught that she's going to get put right back where she was.
And you don't hold her for very long either. It's just a quick little hug and then it's done.
Yeah, and I pet her head. I do it in a little circle, and she purrs, and it's really cute.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but I've always been this way about animals. I just love animals. They're like a passion of mine. Just look at Alyssa, how she is with animals. She gets that from me directly. So, all right. So that was one. What's the second one?
Well, it's hard to pick another one for me because, I don't really remember most of them anymore because
except you just said you went through all the episodes for the website.
Even some of the ones that I went through, I was like, I don't remember ever having this discussion, like at all. But I got to our very first episode, and it was kind of we started out on kind of a dark and depressing note, man. Like we were all deep and dark and depressing, and that's kind of where all of this started.
Well, life at the time was kind of fucked up. If you think about it, it wasn't our best part of our life. Honestly, I think the last year has even though there's a super dark cloud hanging over us for something that we're not going to talk about.
Right.
I think that this has been the best year we've had. Just overall, like we've done so many things since we moved to Vegas. It's not even funny how much we've accomplished by being here. We just came back from looking at Golden Knights season tickets.
Right.
That's the kind of activities we've been up to since we've been here. And it makes sense that it would be sports because I'm really big into sports and you're really big into being with me. So,
right. So I think I'm going to pick either our first episode because it's kind of...
It's momentous.
It's interesting for how far we've come from there. Or I'm going to pick our very recent episode with our new friend Sadia. Because I feel like that episode really shows how far I personally have come in our podcasting world.
Tell people why you say that, because I know why you say that.
It's probably the most I've ever talked on an episode we had a guest.
For whatever reason, you and Sadia just clicked.
Yeah.
And people, watch the What Happens in Vegas channel because we're going to come out with a video soon that features Sadia in the video. The entire video. Not just part of the video, the entire
We're
video.
going on a Sadia venture. She picked the places.
It's all her. She picked it all.
Yeah.
And you're going to see it. It's youtube.com/@, the @ WHIV. What happens in Vegas?
I have to say, 2 out of the 3 things she picked are things that I was already really interested in doing. And the third one is not something I ever knew about, so I couldn't have been excited for.
You know what I find interesting though?
What?
So it was the first guest where you talked so much. Like you talk.
Know.
Don't get us wrong. She talks. But she talked a lot
I'm really
during
shy
that episode.
when it comes to new
and
people.
She's very shy, yes. Well, not only that, but then like the Sadia lady was like, we had her on a Monday.
Yeah.
Now, just so you guys understand, we'll give you a little background. We record our episodes as far in advance as we can. We try to stay about 8 episodes ahead, and there's obvious reasons for that. We want to be able to provide you guys with weekly content. We started out, guys, we were crazy lunatics.
Yeah.
All I ever did was edit podcasts because we would have a podcast every single flipping night. Then we switched to 3 nights a week. Then we switched to 2 nights a week. Then we switched to 1 night a week. And I'm glad we switched to 1 night a week or we wouldn't be at a 500th episode. We would have died because
it's a comfortable
it's
pace.
too much to do when you can't afford your own editor. Now we can afford our own editor and we could go 5 nights a week if we wanted to. But then what the hell else would we do?
It's more than we want
Exactly.
to do with our lives.
And I mean, and already like this year has become 2023 is the year of content creation for Yogi's Podcast Network. We launched What Happens in Vegas. We launched Gaining the Technology Leadership Edge, which is a video podcast that you can find on youtube.com/@TTC. You can find it there. We've started TikTok. And we are creating content. In fact, we came back today from recording a video for the What Happens in Vegas channel. And it's what we do every single week. So, doing 5 episodes of a podcast would mean something has to go. And I don't think we want any of the stuff to go that we have. And we don't want to get burned out. But here's what I was getting at.
And I don't think these people want to listen to us 5 nights a week.
You spoke so much because you clicked with her really well. And on Wednesday, now remember, Monday we had her on the show. On Wednesday, we went to a comedy club. Not your favorite thing. And we went to Wise Guys Comedy Club because she invited us because it was open mic night.
Right.
Now, she would really like one or both of us to go up on stage. And maybe one day I will. And maybe one day you will. I don't know. But maybe one day I will. And honestly, if you think about it, you could turn out to be a really funny comedian. Because it's your delivery. It's how you deliver things. I think if you could harness the sarcasm and deliver it with sarcasm, people would die laughing.
Here's the deal. If we can get 500 people to reach out to us via email after listening to this episode, I will go up on stage at
I
Wise
guess you're
Guys
never going
Comedy
up on
Club.
stage because no one takes time to write an email.
Hey, man, if people want to see it, I'm in. I will do it.
How about 500 likes on the video? Will that work too?
That's too easy.
Okay, 1,000 likes on the video.
Fine. 1,000 likes on the video on YouTube. Not a compilation of likes from all the places the video goes. YouTube. 500 likes.
Well, that's the only way you can track it. I'm not going to add everything up. But anyway, she clicked with this lady so much that we ended up going to the Wise Guy's place to watch her do her stand-up. She sings songs about dicks. It's pretty funny. And she's overall just a really nice lady. And right then and there, I said to you, I'd like to do a video with her. And you were like, sure, let's do it.
Okie doke.
And off we went. It's not often that stuff like that happens.
No. We usually say, first off, we didn't know when she appeared on the podcast that she lived in Las Vegas.
At all. She never once said it.
So
She also didn't know we were in Las Vegas. So in the midst of the episode, you'll hear, if you look it up, you'll hear her tell us that she's in Vegas. Well, actually, she made some statements that kind of alluded to it. And then I told Torya to ask, are you in Vegas? And she said, yeah, I'm in Vegas. And we were like, guess what? So are we.
yeah, it was pretty thrilling.
It was freaking crazy.
So then we decided we were going to reach out and actually make friends, which we've now done. Yay!
And now we've done that. Yes. And she's such a nice lady and she's very supportive. So, when you see her episode, please follow her on Instagram. I'll put her, you'll find her handle in the show notes for this episode and her episode, but definitely go support her. She deserves it. She's funny.
Hunt her down on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because
I'll put the link to her YouTube videos there too.
she has all her songs about dicks, which are mega fucking hilarious in my opinion, on her YouTube channel.
So, all right. So 500 episodes. Here we are. Like we've gone a long way. Some of my favorite guests. All right. Let's just talk about some of my favorite guests. I really, 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 really liked Sadia on the show. I really like, of course, our good friend Brian Little from Your Favorite Blockhead. He's always a good appearance. He's always enjoyable. I enjoy almost all of them. I mean, one person who was on recently who I think about often, who, by the way, is also in Vegas, is Colin, who lost his granddaughter because she committed suicide like 7 months ago. The guy was phenomenal.
Right.
Like, he deals with the suicide by going out and taking a class on how to help people not commit suicide. Like that. A lot of people, in my opinion, would have just been like, I was unsuccessful. My granddaughter killed herself. That's all I can do. I'm done with this. I'm not helping anyone at all. Instead, he turned it around into a crusade where he's helping people avoid the need
And
to kill
even if
themselves.
he helps one other person, he's an A+.
It's A+.
Yeah.
And he spent his time and money to learn this. It was all him.
Right.
And he was a super nice guy. And I mean, it got really emotional. And it's not the normal kind of show that we have. But
Unless you go back to episode 1.
I'm really big on, mental health issues. I think that like this epidemic of shootings that we have right now is mental health issues. But yeah, there you go. I mean, and I've got a show's called the Nightly Rant, and it wouldn't be the 500th episode if there wasn't a rant. So there is a rant coming.
You're gonna rant?
Oh yes, am I gonna rant? Oh, I'm gonna rant. But for right now, you can explain to them who your favorite guests were.
Well, you labeled all.
You
the
can
good
take the ones
ones
that I took too. They can be your favorites. This is different than the episode.
I mean, let's
part.
not forget about Abe from.
Yeah, I like Abe.
What the heck is Abe's show called?
The Bitter Truth.
Thank you.
I've been on his show 3 times.
Abe is an A+ human being, and you like to argue with him, and that was great. It wasn't great because I said 0 words during his appearances, but that's okay. I enjoyed listening to the two of you argue.
We even have a guest that will be unnamed who we both can't stand anymore. And she wanted me to remove his episodes from the internet, and I just didn't want to do that, so I didn't. But
I would just like to remove him from the internet.
I think he kind of removed himself. But
His last appearance on our show went so long because he wouldn't behave himself.
it was when the pandemic first started.
Wouldn't behave himself that I turned off my microphone, got up from my computer, and left.
Yeah, it's the first time that's ever happened. And here's the thing. The whole conversation was about freedoms. I asked him, I said, so you think we live in a free country, yet it's okay for people to insist you wear a mask and get a vaccine? And he was like, well, that's got nothing to do with it. And it was back and forth and back and forth. Anyway,
special. Our zoo is speaking to us.
He was my least favorite guest. But here's my rant, okay? I mentioned earlier that we went to the Golden Knights to look at season tickets. And this group of people, 4 of them, were behind us in line. They saw us. There weren't that many people there, by the way, guys. Because what they did was they had like from 4 o'clock until 9 o'clock tonight, they had 1 hour sections where you'd RSVP 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7, 7 to 8, 8 to 9. Look, I can count.
Wow.
But these people come in. I'm standing in line to go
Check
be
in.
told where to go and check in. And she fucking goes past me and goes straight up to the person. Doesn't bother. She knows I was there before her. You know how I know? She was behind us in line. So she knows we were there first.
They literally entered the building.
She
after
just
us.
walked right in front of me.
Yeah.
Then we're upstairs and we're looking at seats. And what they did was really smart. So people picture this huge empty arena and they put papers on the seats that are available. There weren't many, by the way. But they put papers on the seats that were available. And they're like, here's the seats. And it had the price. It had the price per ticket. Had the total price for the whole season. Great. And then on the back of it, you just fill out your payment information and you turn it in. They asked us to move because we were standing in a row and they didn't want to go up. They were too lazy to go up 1 row.
Yeah.
They literally could have went up a row and went around us, but no, because they're rude MFers, they had to ask us to fucking move. What?
They were like a more vocal version of the people of Costco.
Oh my God, you're not kidding. It was the worst damned experience ever. So here's the thing, people. 500 episodes is a shit ton of episodes. I mean, think about it. If we had recorded an episode every single day, it would have taken us almost 2 years to get here.
Right.
As it stands, it's taken us like 6 years to get here.
Right.
But either way, it's been a fun journey.
Overall.
And, you know, the Yogi's Podcast Network has grown out of all of this. We have many, many shows out there now.
We've met a lot of really cool people.
We offer editing services, production services, show note creation services. You can join our network. We have a lot of fun things going on. And I'm hoping that the next 500 episodes are even more fun than the first 500 episodes.
I'm sure
because we're in a better place mentally.
Yeah, for sure. And don't forget, people, 1,000 likes on this video on YouTube. And I will make sure that Mike videos my appearance going up for 3 minutes on Wise Guys.
A good part of why we're in such a good mood these days is because
of what
where we
happens
live.
in Vegas.
Yeah, it's because of where we live. Vegas is a cool place. Who would have known that the desert is a beautiful fucking place? But the desert is a beautiful fucking place. And with that, that's all I've got for you, people. That's the 500th episode. We have kicked ass because of you guys. So thank you so much for your support throughout. And we hope we can count on you going forward.
Yes. Thank you very much, Lee, everyone. And on that fantastic note, good night, everyone.
Hasta la bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Nightly Rant.
If you enjoyed the show, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Google Play.
If you didn't enjoy the show, please just ignore that previous request for a rating.
This has been a Yogi's Podcast Network production.